This is an M-rated game, so viewer discretion is advised. Danganronpa V3 Review Revisited. Well, this didn't take long. It's only been 2 reviews since I did this. However, at the time, I had not actually finished the game on the Switch. Like I had mentioned before, I've already beat this game previously on the PS4, so the review was more about the game itself and not the performance of it running on the Switch. Because at the time, it was okay. It had issues, but nothing worth talking about. But since I decided to go back and revisit this review, I'm going to talk about the small issues that came up as well. Now, I can't show most of the issues I'm going to talk about, since everything would just basically be a spoiler, since most of it happens towards the end of the game, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone, so you just have to use your imagination. After a little over 650 hours, I finally finished this game. Okay, I'm just kidding. If you didn't watch the review for this game, you're probably like, whoa, this story is really padded out. In the review I had mentioned, there's a bug where the game would just keep running the game clock when it was in sleep mode. That's why it's so high. In reality, the game took me 35 hours to beat, according to Nintendo's time counter. Now, I play this game very slowly, usually an hour a day. The littlest reviewer loved watching me replay these games, and he was there the whole time, sometimes helping me, mostly in the rhythm parts. I still have no idea why they added these mini games into these titles. It was fun to have a game we could both re-experience together. The last time he watched me play a game, it was AI The Somnium Files, and we're both looking forward to the sequel coming out this summer. Now, finishing up the story in this game, it cemented my feelings about how much this felt like the game's creators made a story at the players of this game, and how much they didn't want to make this and it's only existing because it's too popular and they had to do it. Like it's our fault these characters died. The Littlest doesn't agree with my take on this, and he thinks I'm reading too much into it. Now let's talk about the way this plays on the Switch. For most of the game, there really isn't that many issues. It did have some odd moments where if you were reading some text of a piece of evidence, the music would start to slow down. Apparently, showing text on the screen is taxing the Switch's hardware. There was also some slowdown from moving to the save menu. It only took a few seconds when it didn't in the other titles. However, since this was so minor, it's really not that big a deal. I didn't mention it in the review before because it was so minor. However, when you get into the final case, there are some major issues. There's about a 25 to 30 minute section where the game's music will slow down massively, and the frame rate had to have gone down to single digits. Sure, there's quite a few things on the screen, but you wouldn't think a visual novel would push the Switch's hardware this much. Now, is it still playable? Sure, but it takes you out of the moment, and the part of the case that this is happening in is a big reveal, and it's explaining the main plot, and you have to kind of pay attention, but it completely distracts you. Plus, the game crashed on me a couple times. However, the littlest reviewer thinks it's related to the save bug, and me not shutting off the program when I stop it for the night. He said he thought there was memory leakage, and that's what was causing the crashes. Now, the crashes were not a huge issue as the game autosaves occasionally, and I never lost a lot of ground. It was just more annoying. However, looking back at the issues I had with it, I have to reconsider my verdict. I do think you should play this game if you've played the other ones. Is it necessary to get the whole story? No. It's an unneeded sequel and doesn't do much to add to the narrative. But because the creators were making a point about how this game was only existing because of the demand, it's understandable. I do think it's worth a buy on the PC or another console. I would just skip it for the Switch. If you want to buy the big bundle, I guess you don't have much of a choice. But there are just too many issues, and that horrible slowdown in the final trial was just unacceptable. If you have no other way to experience this, then the Switch version will work most of the time. But if you have any other option, just skip it on this console.